Where do I begin? We go into Denver, one of the most hostile environments to play at altitude, whatever. Worst defense in the league for the run. You think we're going to run the ball? We got the third best rushing attack, and what does dumbass do? He starts out by throwing. A rookie quarterback making his third fucking start, he keeps on throwing the fucking ball. So I think we did pass, 3 straight pass plays, or maybe pass, third and 8, run. I don't know, but it wasn't good. We had to punt the ball. Denver gets the ball, and they get a fucking tic-tac bullshit offensive pass interference call. A defensive pass on Craig Newsome, which is bullshit, sets them up to score, and they go down and score. Browns usually whip a touchdown, whatever, and then we shut them down the rest of the game. This would be different today because Stefanski had fucking DTR. Instead of running the ball like a normal team, he had DTR throwing the ball 20 times in the first half. Now, Russell Wilson had 12 attempts in the first half, and they were up 14-6. We had chances to score, but Stefanski's play calling is fucking... He had the 20-yard box, now it's down to a 10-yard box. He keeps everything at 10-yard pass patterns or under, and they just sit on him. DTR is really he's at a disadvantage with Stefanski calling plays. Every quarterback is. There's a reason Deshaun Watson is in 2020 Deshaun Watson, because fucking Stefanski won't allow it. Stefanski doesn't know how to treat quarterbacks. He doesn't know how to put quarterbacks in a position to succeed. He knows how to put them in a position to fail. Think about this. Deshaun Watson's been in Cleveland. Fucking 15 games. He's had maybe, 8 or 9 good quarters? He should have been back to 2020 in 2 or 3 games. But Stefanski's offense doesn't allow it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. If Deshaun Watson was in any other team right now, being coached by any other coach, he would have been back to normal in 2 or 3 games. Not now, not under Stefanski. The guy he does not know how to put his quarterbacks in position to succeed. He just knows how to put them in position to fail. And he kills the offense. DTR was put in a position to fail last week, and he was put in a position to fail this week. Someone said that Stefanski, who was it, that fat pork chop said, Kevin, he throws the ball to open up the run. They've been doing that for years. It's nothing new. But when you're playing the worst pass rush defense in the National Football League, you don't need to do that. You know what you need to do? You need to just keep running it down their throat. And then you pick them apart with the pass. But Stefanski's too damn dumb. He wants to be a fucking genius. He wants people to talk about him on SportsCenter like he's some kind of great play caller. The guy is fucking terrible. I don't want to hear about he's got a rookie quarterback. If you got a rookie quarterback, then run the fucking ball. Don't have him throw the ball. I think he threw the ball like 48 times today with him and P.J. Walker. So, and then how about when what's-his-name gets hurt? We still were in the game 17-12 because we could have tied it up. We had a 2-point conversion, perfectly thrown ball by TTR, and Amari Cooper dropped it. And by the way, DTR actually played good. Hold on, I'm watching this game. Yeah, DTR actually played good. And he was starting to catch fire in the second half. He was starting to, not catch fire, but, he was starting to catch his sea legs. And if DTR, I would love to see DTR under a normal offensive coach and a normal head coach, because I think DTR can play in this league. You know what he kind of reminds me of? Lamar Jackson. Not for running, but just for the fact that he throws the ball. He throws a good ball. And the Browns have a lot of drops with DTR. And they said because DTR throws a harder ball than Watson, right? And they said DTR has like one of the fastest throws in combine history. But they're making excuses. That's why receivers are dropping the ball. Boy, we got taken down. But yeah, we had a lot of drops. DTR ain't the problem. It's Kevin Stefanski. He's the fucking problem. Because as soon as DTR went out, P.J. Walker comes in. You know what this dumbass does? He does a fucking reverse to a guy that didn't even touch the ball all game. And he fumbled. And they got the ball at like the 15-yard line, scored like 3 plays later, and the game was out of reach. So our defense ain't the problem. I did find one thing out, and I already knew this. People don't want to think Denzel Ward's any good, but when Denzel Ward ain't in the game, guess what? You don't have that fucking lockdown corner, because Craig Newsome, he's good, but he ain't no Denzel Ward. But, yeah, we had a lot of injuries on defense, and they were gassed in a high altitude being on the field. So I'm not worried about the defense. When you have a rookie quarterback, the success rate for this team should be to run the ball, because you got the third best running attack in football, and play defense, and that's a recipe to get yourself into the playoffs. But Stefanski doesn't want to do that because he wants to win his way. He doesn't want to win any way. He wants to win his way. And his way is throwing the ball over the fucking yard, just like last year. So, yeah, we could have won this game today. We could have. Denver, listen, I'll give Denver credit. They beat the Vikings, the Bills, the Chiefs. I forget. They beat some good teams in the Browns. They beat some good teams in this 5-game winning streak. I'll give them credit. But from what I've seen of Denver, they're not a playoff team. If they do make the playoffs, they're not going to scare nobody because Russell Wilson is a shell of what he... I mean, I know he didn't play terrible, but he's a shell of what he once was. I know he's got good statistics this year, but we do have a good defense, but he's a shell of what he once was. I'm not worried about the Broncos. If they do get in, they'll be one and done. We lost that game because of Kevin Stefanski. As injured as we were, we had a chance to win it, but Kevin Stefanski is a fucking cancer. Like I said, when PJ Walker came in, the first play, fumble, put him right at the 15-yard line. They scored like 4 plays later. Game was over by then. The defense was on the field because we couldn't sustain a drive. And when DTR went down, you seen how bad PJ Walker is. He made a couple nice throws, but he's not a... Listen, for him to be a backup to the backup on your team, that's an indictment on the Ivy fucking cult. The fact that they trust PJ Walker for a billion-dollar corporation like the Cleveland Browns as a backup in case your starter goes down or your backup goes down is a travesty. Andrew Berry is a fucking clown. He shouldn't. PJ Walker should not. He shouldn't even be on the roster. I like the kid, but he's not an NFL quarterback. He shouldn't be on the roster. I'm sorry. He's just every throw he throws is into the fucking dirt. It's just into the dirt. They got to get Joe Flacco ready. I got no problem with playing DTR, but if they're going to play DTR, like when P.J. Walker came in the game, they actually threw the ball downfield deep. They took a few deep shots. You have to take deep shots in this game. You can't keep everything in front of you for 10 yards. You can't win at football that way, and you just can't do it. You couldn't do that in 1970. You can't do it now. So I don't have a problem with DTR playing because I happen to think DTR can play. Now, would I rather see Joe Flacco moving forward? Absolutely. He's a proven vet, Super Bowl MVP, and I believe with the recipe for winning with the Cleveland Browns right now, because let's call a spade a spade. Elijah Moore, one of the worst signings ever. I don't know why they signed that guy. He sucks. David Njoku, they gave all this money to. He fucking sucks. But the way to win in this league right now, because the offense is down in this league, but the way to win with this defense we got, you run the ball with a veteran quarterback and you take your shots downfield. That's what you do. And you can do that with DTR. I'd much rather do it with Joe Flacco. But if they want to do it with DTR, as long as Stefanski allows them to throw downfield, don't keep him in that 10-yard fucking box. Because you're not going to beat nobody with a fucking 10-yard box. You might beat the Steelers because they suck, but you're not going to beat good teams with the 10-yard fucking box, especially on the fucking road in one of the worst places to win. I said this from the get-go when they hired Stefanski. He wasn't qualified, and he wasn't going to be any good in Cleveland. These Browns fans are fucking stupid and retarded because they somehow think that Kevin Stefanski is he's the only winning coach we ever had. They don't realize that the roster Kevin Stefanski has compared to what the roster Mike Pettin had, compared to what the roster Romeo Crennel had, compared to what the roster all those other guys had, Chadinsky, anybody, Eric Mangini, is substantially better. It's a stacked roster right now. Although our receivers do suck. Amari Cooper's a 2 at best. He's not a 1. Cedric Tillman may be our best receiver. We should have kept Donovan Peoples-Jones, to be honest with you, but whatever. We do have a stacked roster. I mean, we got enough on offense that we can win this whole goddamn thing if we had a guy that knew how to call plays and a head coach that knew how to do it. Because right now, Stefanski, I know they're not going to fire him. See, that's what pisses me off. That's why I don't make many videos about the Browns anymore, because I know Jimmy Haslam is fucking mind-fucked by the Ivy cult. They mind-fucked him. They puppetized him. He's not going to fire Stefanski. The only thing I can hope for is, if they ever want to see Deshaun Watson get back to what he used to be, they're going to have to take away play calling from Stefanski, and he can't be involved with any part of the offense because his offensive philosophy is fucking archaic. It's high school. It's just terrible. And you'll never get the 2020 Deshaun Watson ever. Deshaun Watson had that good game the second half against Baltimore, right? That was impressive. He ran. Look at the old Deshaun Watson for a little bit. Not completely back, but there was glimpses of it. You're not going to get that again under Stefanski, trust me. So, moving forward, we got to get rid of Stefanski calling plays. They're not going to fire him, but they got to take play calling away from him because we could have won that game today. I mean, DTR threw a perfect ball to Amari Cooper. Someone said it was too low. You got to catch it. It's in your fucking hands. It would have been tied. Believe it or not, being down 14-12 is a big deal than being tied 14 because that was momentum right there. We came back from 14 down just like we did against Seattle, just like we did against fucking Baltimore. And we could have done it if Kevin Stefanski knew how to call fucking plays like a real NFL quarterback, whatever, or a real NFL coach, we would have won that fucking game. Because the defense was gassed from all the 3-and-outs. The fucking offense was when, what's his name came in. Once DTR went down, we were done. Because Andrew Berry don't have a quality backup in there to a backup. Andrew Berry's a fucking clown. His signings have been fucking terrible. Still is underutilizing Kareem Hunt. Stefanski's just horrible. And I don't make videos on it no more because I know they're not going to fire him. I gave them the blueprint on what to do to fix this team, and they won't do it, so fuck Jimmy Haslam. I said this when they hired Stefanski. He wasn't qualified. He's the worst coach in football. And guess what? 4 years later, I'm right. But you got retarded Browns fans that think because he got a winning record this year and his first year that he's coach of the year, they don't realize the roster that this guy's had to work with compared to the other coaches. Hugh Jackson had Kevin Hogan as his starting quarterback. Terrell Pryor was his number one receiver. Isaiah Crowell. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? These Browns fans are fucking stupid. They don't get that. So, yeah, that's why guys like me, I want to dominate the NFL. I have a defense that can dominate the NFL. I had a quarterback that could have dominated the NFL if I had a guy calling plays that knew how to call plays. But this guy that calls plays now doesn't know how to call plays to get 2020 Deshaun Watson back. You know why? Because he's calling a fucking high school offense. That's fucking why. And I think P.J. Walker threw the ball like close to 50 times today. Or not P.J. Walker. I think our quarterbacks threw the ball like 50 times today. And I think the Broncos only threw the ball like 25 times. And they won the game going away. So what's that tell you? One guy's a Hall of Fame coach. One guy's a fucking Ivy League cult member that Jimmy Haslam got mind-fucked by. So this is an inexcusable loss. I mean, you're on the road against Denver. Baker Mayfield won in Denver at a night game. He won on a night game with Greg Williams with a lesser talented roster. And Denver was better back then. So we went in Denver and beat them. We didn't come close today because Kevin Stefanski took any chance we had of winning that game and got us out to a 14-0 deficit in the first half. In the first quarter, actually. This is how bad Kevin Stefanski is. I just don't see how Browns... You know why? Because these Browns... Let me tell you why. These Browns fans weren't around in the 80s and 90s. They weren't around when the Browns were good. These Browns fans are so used to being so bad that this is their dream just to be relevant. Be like, whoa, we're 7-4. We're 3 games. And it makes me sick. They don't understand. Who the fuck wants to be mediocre? Who wants to be mediocre? I want to dominate. And I know how to fix this team. You get rid of stuff. And I know they're not going to fire him. You take away play call and get a regular play caller in there. If you remember when we played... Let me just go back a couple years ago. When the first year Stefanski was here, we needed to beat Pittsburgh. We were playing their backups at home. We needed to beat Pittsburgh to get in the playoffs. It took a last-second first down at home by Baker Mayfield to get us in the playoffs in a close game against their backups. They weren't even playing their starters. Then the following week, we were injured like crazy in the playoffs. Stefanski was at home with COVID, and we dominated Pittsburgh. Without Stefanski. You know why? Because he wasn't calling plays. I equate Stefanski to like a governor on a vehicle. You know how they have a governor in these auto races so you can't maximize your engine's performance? That's what Stefanski is. He's a fucking governor. And by the way, Mark Sanchez was clowning the fuck out of Stefanski. He was like, what? And I hope they were listening. I hope John Johnson, whatever, Jimmy Haslam was watching the game on TV. I hope he was watching it right in his press box. Because he's like, Mark Sanchez, why are you doing this, throwing the ball, when you got the third best rushing attack and you won all these games by running? What are you doing? He was clowning the fuck out of Stefanski. So yeah, I stopped making videos on the Browns because I know Jimmy Haslam's a fucking retard. He's a crook, flying bee, whatever the fuck his gas station. He's a fucking loser. So I stopped. I don't even care. I don't, because I know what the problem with the Browns are. I could fix it. But Jimmy Haslam's he's mind fucked by the Ivy cult. Now we got to go to the Rams next week, and well, I got news for you. They better get Joe Flacco ready. I surmise P.J. Walker will be practice squatted because he's just not good enough to be on this roster. And I don't mind DTR starting if he's healthy, but Stefanski, open up the fucking offense, you jackass, because I do believe DTR can play in this league. He showed me enough today. He was making some throws. He had a lot of drops. But me personally, I would like to get Joe Flacco ready for the playoff run. Make no mistake about it. If we don't make the playoffs and win it this year, I don't want to hear, we're quarterbacks. I expect to win it. With that defense, if we had our old regular defense, Joe Woods, I wouldn't expect much. But with that defense, all you need is a quarterback to make throws here and there with your running game. You could win the Super Bowl. So I expect to win the Super Bowl this year. And if we don't get there this year and win it, you got to fire Stefanski. But Jimmy Haslam won't. He won't. But you have to take away his play calling. And I know he don't want to because I remember someone saying that Stefanski really loves play calling. He loves it. I don't know why anyone would want to play. Well, you're a head coach. Why the fuck would you want to be with the task of calling plays. Wouldn't it be easier just to sit there on the sidelines and watch the game and oversee everything rather than fucking call plays? Stefanski, you know what that tells me? He's an egomaniac. He's a fucking clown. I can't stand him. I fucking hate him. I wish he'd get staged out. That'd be the greatest thing to happen. I can't say anymore because I'm going to start, I don't want to talk about it. I can't stand the fucking guy. I hope to God that he has to go to the doctors and they give him bad news. That's all I can say. I can't stand him. The guy's a fucking clown. Give up play calling. I don't care you want to coach the fucking team, but you're killing my fucking season because you don't know how to call plays. You're single-handedly ruined Deshaun Watson, and now you're doing your best to ruin fucking DTR. And that's why I want Joe Flacco to start, because I know Joe Flacco. If he's the quarterback, he's going to sit there under center and say, whoa. He's just going to do what he wants. He'll override Stefanski, and he'll come out there after he's done playing for the Browns, and he'll say, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in Cleveland, and it'll be great TV because he'll call them out on it. I need someone. I wish the Cleveland media had balls. Tony Grossi and all them people, when Stefanski, after he lost like today, they ask him a little question, a little softball. He gives a half-witted answer. He doesn't even give a regular answer. He'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah. And they'll just let it go. It's like they're like little fucking housewives, and their husband came from work, a hard day at work, and he's in a bad mood. Don't piss him off. Just let him go. That's how they feel. And if this fucking Tony Grossi and the fucking Cleveland media would call this motherfucker out and say, why the fuck would you call that reverse with a guy that didn't even touch the ball all game? Some of the shit this guy does. If they would just call out Stefanski for what he does and not let him off the hook. If Stefanski coached in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, he would be fired. They would have eaten him alive. But this Cleveland media is a bunch of fucking pussies. Make no mistake about it, Stefanski needs fired. He's fucking terrible. And the media won't call him out. It makes me sick. If I was a media, I got to get some media credentials, because I'll be like, what were you thinking? P.J. Walker comes in and you have him, you're doing this reverse play. Why not run the ball? Why don't you run the fucking ball all game? I mean, you got the third best rushing attack. You're going against the worst run defense. What the fuck are you doing? Someone needs to ask him that. But no one will ask him. You know how they'd put it? They'd be like, well, yeah, knowing that Denver's defense is not too good against the run, were you planning on running at some point? They would just, they were scared. They're scared. So, yeah, this is a bad loss because we're a better team than Denver. Believe it or not, we are. I don't, like I say, I'm not Denver. I'll give them credit for an impressive 5-game winning streak, but we're a better team than Denver. We lost because another game we lost because of our coach. You think about the games we lost. We should have beat Seattle. Instead of running the ball when we should have ran like a normal coach would have, he put the ball in P.J. Walker's hands with the last minute to fail. And guess what? PJ failed. So instead of being 7-3, we'd be 8-2 going into that game. We should have beat the Steelers. Actually, we could have beat the Steelers. Terrible play calling by Stefanski, and Deshaun Watson played flat out terrible that game. So whatever. That game's on Deshaun Watson and Stefanski, because Stefanski started out bad, but Deshaun Watson had a turnover. We had the lead with 2 minutes left, and the turnover was a touchdown for Pittsburgh. So we could have beat them. The only game we really lost this year was the Ravens. When DTR started, when he knew he would start like an hour and a half before the game. Other than that, the losses we had, we should have only really been beaten by the Ravens. We could have won every game. And every loss that we had is on Stefanski. Stefanski caused this one. He caused the Seahawks game. He caused the Steelers game. And he caused the Ravens game, too, because P.J. Walker making his first start, instead of just easing him in, he threw the whole playbook at him. So that's probably his excuse now why he's not going downfield. No, you're playing the worst fucking rushing defense. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now, people. I'm not happy.